Hi there, Rambo McLean for life, and I'm back for another movie review. And this time I'm gonna be talking about Detox, or more aka ICU, which is from Universal Pictures, and of course is from Sylvester Stallone. And I already did review Hunters, and they're basically are almost the same stories, just in a different outpost. But I prefer this movie, Detox. I love this movie to death. This is the original. This is actually the theatrical release cut from Universal Pictures. It's not Jim Gillespie's cut, which was released. And until yesterday, I did not know that MVD from America, the company, they released Detox, from this movie that I do own. They went and released the cut from they went and they released the cut from Jim Gillespie's cut, and I didn't know until last night, and I saw the video from a reviewer, a YouTuber reviewer who reviewed this film, and he said how bad it was, how the latest scenes in this movie were. Basically, I think Detox, in my opinion, is underrated. It's very criminally underrated movie of all time. This is my personal favorite Sylvester Stallone movie. It's in my top 10 Stallone films. It's also this is not an action film. It's more a psycho thriller, but more a horror film. Sylvester Stallone in a horror film, which is cool. I think it's a cool. This is the behind. Sylvester Stallone, the outpost. And I just love this movie, incredible to death. Yes, I think it's criminally underrated, and I think Detox is very underrated. I mean, fuck. Man, this is like the most underrated movie of all time, And I understand why they spliced, why the film was spliced, I understand why the film was also spliced and what was the problem with this film. I got it, So I'm just gonna go to the movie. Agent Jake Malloy, Sylvester Stallone, sorry I had to do this. Sylvester Stallone, Agent Jake Malloy is hunting a serial killer who's targeting cops. He's an FBI agent, and he's targeting a serial killer who is killing cops. He's a cop killer, and he's killing cops. And I think was for past 3 years he's hunting the serial killer down, And in the open scene, Jake Malloy and his friends, his fellow officers, they are in this bar, they're drinking, and this guy, I wrote his name down, James Kidney, he looks like Terry O'Quinn, but he's different, But he's different pace. But I thought was Stereo Queen Red. He says you're an FBI agent. When you gonna catch him? And then he says I'm an asshole. But I just love that in this movie. And we also see that Jake Malloy, he's engaged. He's buying a ring for his fiance, and the fiance is Dina Meyer. Holy shit, the actress from Starship Troopers, I forgot her character's name, but she was in Starship Troopers, she was in Starship Troopers, that's her, you see, that's her, that's Dina Meyer, that's her, Dina Meyer, she was in Starship Troopers, she was in that movie, best lead, Stranger Than Fiction. She was in Stranger Than Fiction, she was in Starship Troopers, and she was in this movie, which I really do love that, And he's married, and of course he goes to that toy Malloy and says, I work alone. And then this guy, this police officer Red, shows up, and someone knocks on his door. He looks through the eye hole, and he gets, stabbed by a screwdriver, how you call that, machine, he gets stabbed in the eye, which is bloody, you know. It has gore, and then this serial killer shows up and shots him in the head, you know, and he leaves a mark to Jake Malloy, and when they call Jake Malloy, he shows up, you know, and Jake Malloy then he gets caught, and he shows up, you know, and of course they don't find any panels, it's cutting down, you know, you're not gonna see anything, and of course they found ICU, you know, that was actually the title, you know, because there are actually 3 titles they work on, and Detox, not with that line, but just Detox, you know, or ICU, or the Outpost, you know. So they released this cut, you know, this is theatrical release cut from 2010, Detox, and of course the killer call is actually by Jake Malloy's house, and he calls him and tells him that his fiance is gonna be next. And of course he do the same, you know, he break into the Malloy's house, kills his fiance, you know, and Jake says, son of a bitch, by my house. They go there, and he finds, you know, and Jake Malloy finds his girlfriend, his fiance dead. He finds her dead, he's broken, but then they got him, you know, they found him, and of course Jake Malloy goes with a SWAT team. They go on this roof, you know, in this building, this facility building, and the serial killer is escaping, and Malloy is after him, and there's a firefight, there's a shootout, you know, and of course Malloy then finds the serial killer been dead, you know. When Hank can say, and it's writing like he's a SWAT team member, so it's writing ICU, and I think the police, they close the case down, you know. So now Jake Malloy is broken to pieces. He's been broken to pieces, and yeah, he's been broken to pieces, and it's been 3 months. He's drinking. And we see Charles S. Dutton, who plays Hendrickson, you know, he shows up, and of course he says, he gives him a gun, says, pull a bullet in your brain, you still had to live, you still had to life to live, you know. And of course Malloy grabs the gun, shoots in the roof, you know, and says, what's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, you know? And Malloy goes home in the rain. He cuts himself, but his wrist, but somehow survives. So Hendrix draws into this outpost. This is called Detox, you know. This is outpost. This outpost is I think was in Wyoming, but it was shot entirely in Canada, you know. So bring him to this facility in the outpost, in which there are all burnout cops. You know, there's a burnout cops who can't handle the job anymore. So this is a clinic. You know, this is an outpost clinic for only cops with troubles, you know, with problems. And Jake Malloy shows up in this outpost, and unaware, serial killer, you know, ICU tracks him down, and he kills one of the cops, you know, and he starts killing, and he decides to complete his mission by continue killing cops, you know, in this outpost, in this facility, you know, in this clinic. And he starts killing until Malloy finds it's the same guy, the same killer, you know, it's the same guy, the same killer, and he's toying with him until Jake Malloy, he has to do whatever to help his fellow inmates, you know. And of course, by the finale, Jake Malloy, you know, he goes and fights the guy, you know, he finds out who it is, you know, he goes and fights with him, he has a nightmare, you know, and he goes and fights on the end, you know, and he then crosses the fiance's ring, you know, and Malloy walks, you know. It's just, I love this movie to death. I mean, I know I kind of went fast, but yeah, I want to talk more about the release, you know, now. That's the reason. But I also think this is actually John Carpenter in The Outpost, you know. John Carpenter's The Thing Outpost, which I did bring the disc together, you know. And I'm talking about John Carpenter's The Thing, you know, because it's kind of similar, and this is like similar Outpost. You see, the similar Outpost, you know, it's kind of similar Outpost, just like in Detox. I See You, you know, and I think it's very underrated movie. I think Detox is very underrated. And this movie was actually shot in 1997. It was entirely shot in Canada, you know, in Memphis, in Wyoming, you know, the setting. But it was shot in 1997. And when they did in 1999, they did the Universal Pictures did a screen test, you know, from Jim Gillespie, the original cut, and it turns out negative. You know, it was a bad. It was received negatively by the test audience, you know. So they lived this cut for a while until for 3 years, until the whole cast had to come back for the reshots, you know, edited reshots, which that kind of explains, you know, they had to go reshots, you know, the Universal Pictures disowned this film, you know, but they had to do reshots because Jim Gillespie was completely incompetent director, you know. So when I watched the video last night, you know, it's Rant on Detox, you know, from Rambo Raf for Life. Yeah, I had to mention him, but he was right, you know, because MVD released the original cut from Jim Gillespie, and most of the latest scenes are completely done. There's not even much more gore in it, you know. So director's cut kind of wasn't better, you know, because this is the theatrical release that I do own. Thank God I don't have the original cut of I See or Detox, you know. Thank God, but. Yeah, and Rambo Rap said that that scene, I think that the movie keeps shifting from flashbacks to the present to the future, keeps shifting, and he also said that scene I just mentioned it, you know, in which you know, Henry Charles says that shows up and he says stop wasting memory in her, put a bullet in your brain, gives him a gun, you know, and Malloy grabs a gun and fires in the roof, you know, bang bang, you know, he goes in the roof, you know, and Henry says, what's the matter with you? That scene is not in the cut. There's also, he said that yeah, the scene is completely cut out, and he also said keeps shifting from flashbacks, you know, and also that the scene in which Charles Staton's cabin is in the fire is also deleted, or by the finale, you know, when of course Jake Malloy, you know, he goes he fights with a serial killer, you know, he grabs him and he steps in the blades, you know, he grabs and says, I see you, you see this, and he stabs him, you know, and then he grabs him once again and he slams him in the blades the second time, you know. And Rambo have said that scene never has been deleted too. Why? It was completely deleted. He only stabbed him once, he only throws him once on the blade, and that's it, you know, and then the movie completely just fucking ends, you know. He said that's completely deleted. I don't know why they deleted, or the cabin or Hendrix cabin on the fire has been kind of deleted, you know, and there's even not much more gore, you know. Yeah, and now I understand why Universal Pictures did not like or disowned this film, or did not like at all, you know, because the director was completely incompetent, you know, like deleting such a great gore scenes. Why, you know, just stupid, you know. And yeah, he said there's so many cuts, there's so many scenes cut, you know, and keep flashbacks, like it shift them to the present, to the past, you know. It's just stupid, you know. My biggest problem, wait, I forgot to mention, first off, I forgot why I love this movie, and I'm also gonna explain to you now why I love this movie, and I'm also gonna explain what's my problem, you know. So let's go to the problem. My biggest problem is that I wish that this movie wouldn't be cut. This scene, the shower scene in the trailer. It's even written on IMDb trivia. On the trailer we see Dina Meyer's ass, naked scene, ass much more. We see her much more. And in this movie, that's theatrical release, there's only one scene when the girl looks up and then she goes downstairs. I don't remember if I see, except on the trailer, I don't remember see her almost topless, that she only wears a t-shirt but she's half naked. I don't remember seeing that, but yeah, but that's I wish that scene will be in this film, in this theatrical release, in which I could see more nudity. I love the gore, the slasher, which there more nudity. That's my only problem. I do love the gory kills, and I love that it's snowing. It's a winter, it's a snowing. It's completely, we have now winter. We do have now winter. It's all we are covered by snow nowadays. Yes, we're covered by snow. So this is also snow. It's set into the snow days. It's a snow winter. I love this snow winter. I love this outpost. I love this snow winter. It's kinda like John Carpenter's The Thing. At least Sylvester Stallone did this movie. This motherfucker, what is his name? Steven Seagal in Suburge, he did not want to have The Thing, like it will be on a ship, The Thing. He wanted a fucking opera, And I just love it. Looks like The Thing, it looks like The Thing. Survival is a killer, I wish there will be a killer with an axe, But yeah, I love that setting. I love that it was shot entirely in Canada. I love that it's during snow winter. There's a snowstorm outside in this movie, which I love. That we also we don't have snowstorm now, but we have 2 days ago snowstorm. And I just love that, And I think that Sylvester Stallone's best performance, in my opinion, was FBI Jake Malloy, And I love how he acted, He did a great job, So far, I only reviewed Cobra and the Rambo movies, which I love. But I decided to review and talk about Detox, ICU, Why I love this movie. And I think it's underrated Stallone flick, I don't know if many agree, but I know why Universal Pictures disowned this film and why they don't like it, But I like those scenes put back, There's another thing when Chris Christopherson, sees some guy breaking in the storage room, steals the files, Chris Christopherson plays Doc, he goes after the killer. And when he goes in this snowstorm outside, we see behind him the killer with an axe, and he goes and kills him, but then the scene shifts off to the group, in this outpost talking to each other, and you see the actor who's supposed to play the killer, Slater, played by Christopher Fulford, who's supposed to be the killer, but that won't be possible because the killer couldn't be on the 2 places. I don't think that Slater could be in 2 places. So that explains why why the scene was shifted off, because they had to do extra footage, they had to do reshots, the Universal Pictures demanded the reshots. That's why the scene cuts to the group and you see this guy who's supposed to be the killer, what his name, Slater, I love that he wears Christian Slater, that he wears Christian Slater's last name, but Slater, he's in this movie the killer's not even mentioned name, only that he took the identity from a real cop, Slater, and he went this outpost and he was stalking them. But yeah, there's also this movie Whiteout with Kate Beckinsale, which is kind of similar, but I would rather choose Detox. I mean, Detox is my personal favorite film. I think I'll definitely put this movie in my second favorite thriller. The first one would be The Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, some people say it's a horror, it's a psychological thriller in my opinion. This is also psychological thriller with horror elements, which I love that, what else that I want to say? The writing has been by Ron L. Brinkerhoff. I hope I wrote. Yeah, it was based on his story. And of course, this is also disowned by the Universal Pictures. But I love this film to death. What I wanted to say, the reason why I prefer this movie over Mindhunters, because this movie does not go and kill off, my favorite star, does not kill Sylvester Stallone, because I'm a big fan of Sylvester Stallone, and I'm a big fan of this movie, and big fan of the Rambo movies. I reviewed all 4 of them. I reviewed Cobra, I'm a huge Sylvester Stallone fan. I love the guy to death. And at least in Mindhunters, they go off after 32 minutes and kill off Christian Slater, Why? Why killing Christian Slater after 32 minutes? At least they could wait to the finale and kill him then off, But after 32 minutes, he's been killed off so easily, That was really disappointing by me and slapping Christian Slater's face. And if you're a fan of Val Kilmer, you'll be very disappointed with that film, because for all the fans of Val Kilmer, I definitely say he's like only in 2-3 scenes, and then he disappears for the rest of the movie. In Mindhunters, in the open scene, he's like only for 4 minutes or something. Then he disappears. Then he shows up on the end, and like he's the killer. You think he's the killer, but then he's being killed by someone else, and that's it. I think this will be very disappointing for 2 biggest stars, Christian Slater and Val Kilmer. Why slap them in the face like that? That's the reason why Mindhunters takes me out of the movie, because of Christian Slater and Val Kilmer. They could kill off Catherine Morris, and Christian Slater could be at least alive in that movie, or Val Kilmer could have survived. But no, they went to hell. They had to go and kill off 2 biggest stars. And also, I'm a huge Christian Slater fan. He did my favorite movie of all time, Broken Arrow, which I love Broken Arrow to death, And that's one of the reasons why that movie took me out. Detox didn't. And besides that, I just love the movie. I also love the cast, Besides Sylvester Stallone, we do have Sharon Statham. He was in Black Dog, which I reviewed. We have Polly Walker as Jenny. This Jenny, Polly Walker, I love her character. Slater is chasing her down, or he thinks it's game over, now turn into be fine. Sharon Statham, there's a fire, and Slater jumps in it, But the killer has been actually played by Yves Cameron, completely different actor. That's also explained that. I wish the movie will have 2 killers, just like in this movie Scream, or Scream 2. I wish there will have 2 killers. That would be much better, better explanation. But that didn't happen because Universal Pictures demanded to be re-edited and reshots, That's why it took 3 years till release, and they disowned because it was so terrible, it was so bad, But 5.3 is just terrible. I also love that song on the end. Wish they will be writing this song. I love the song on the end of credits. I love the performance by Sylvester Stallone, and I love the cast. We have Robert Patrick. He was also in Copland, but in Copland he's been killed by Sylvester Stallone. In this movie, he's been killed by a killer. We also do have Dina Meyer. We do have Christopherson. He was in Blade 1, 2, and 3. We also do have Jeffrey Wright. He was later in that show Westworld. Then we have Tom Berenger. Tom Berenger is also in this movie, Hank, Tom Berenger is also in this movie when he goes, and he punches Sylvester Stallone and they close them down. I also don't remember if that scene is in this theatrical release cut in which Stallone is running, the doors are open. I don't remember, the doors are closing down. I don't remember. But Tom Berenger goes and punches Stallone, because Stallone closed them everything down because he doesn't know who the killer is. Everyone is a suspect in this movie. They start pointing guns on each other, and Stallone goes and he closes down Chef Jenny, and Tom Berenger goes, and he punches him and they close him. And of course, Stallone then finds something through the shaft. He goes and he uses that ring or something, that amulet, for a screwdriver, so he can open the shaft and climbs down there and finds that it's a Slater, he figures out it's a Slater. Slater is the one who's the killer, in this movie. That's basically is, But yeah, Tom Berenger in this movie, he was in Platoon, which I love the movie to death. He was in Sniper. I think there were Sniper flicks. I only have the first one. I have not seen the sequels. I think I saw the third one, but I barely remember. I do have the first one on my collection. But I love Detox to death. I also love the cast, the cast in this movie, which is much better than Mindhunters, We also do have Country Beyonce. He was in Fixing the Shadow with Charlie Sheen, or Made of Steel, or how it's called. Then we also have, the music has been by John Powell. I enjoy the music score by John Powell. And also we do have this guy, I can find Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang was in the Fugitive TV series. He played one-armed man, and he also Stephen Lang was also in that movie that I enjoy, Don't Breathe. The horror film 2016. He was in Don't Breathe. But yes, I really do enjoy this film. I enjoy this film, Detox. I have fun with it, I love the cast, Dina Meyer's in this movie. I wish there will be, I wish the shower scene there will be more in this theatrical cut, that it won't be derated. I do wish that, But yeah, I love the cast, Sylvester Stallone, Charles Dutton, Polly Walker, Chris Christopherson, Robert Patrick from Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and Copland, is in this movie. Tom Berenger, Courtney Beyonce, Stephen Lang, and of course, the movie also doesn't explain what happened to Angela Alvarado, and of course, this guy, Jeffrey Wright, The also does not explain, I think they both survived, but they kind of disappeared then for the rest of the movie, while Stallone is hunting down the serial killer. And I love that scene, he grabs him, they're shooting each other, love this scene, they're shooting each other, or Robert Patrick, being caught, but I love this scene when they're shooting each other, and of course, Charles Dutton shoots him, but gets hit, in the shoulder by the killer. And of course, Jake Malloy fights with him, they go fight each other. And Malloy grabs him and says, I see you, you see this. And he stabs him and throws in the blade, then he's pissed. Because the killer says, she shouted your name, man, he grabs him and shows him, motherfucker, shows him the blades. That's my favorite scene, You see, I see you. You see this, and he shows you the blades. I love that. That's my favorite scene in this movie. Lost Stallone this movie. Loved this movie to death. Detox. Fucking underrated. I love The Outpost. I just love this movie. Fuck, man, it speaks to me. I love this movie. It's a slasher film. It's a horror film. The death scenes. It's like Tom Berenger and another guy. They found Stephen Lang's body, but they didn't know they have a car accident. And when the guy, I think he finds Jack, turns around, the killer slashes his neck. You see blood, slashes his goddamn neck. Love that. He slashes his neck. Or Chris Christopherson being killed with an axe, with a killer with an axe, and with a coat, with a hooded coat, or the guy been slashed his wrist, or Jake finds them, but he finds the guy's prison, and Charlie says that and shows up. I think he finds a body in the lake that he tries fishing, or his cabin's on fire. Just love that, it was entirely shot in Canada, but I just love Detox, I really did not want to review this movie, but I have to talk about it since I reviewed Mindhunters a few days ago. I enjoyed Detox from Sylvester Stallone. It's my movie, it's my favorite. Not an action movie, it's more a horror slasher film. I'll definitely put this movie top 20 slasher films. Psychological thriller. The reason it was titled I See You, because the killer was leaving marks. I see you, see and you, see you. That's the reason it was. But when I pop the movie, it says Detox, when I pop the movie in it. But yeah, it's nice to see this movie, Detox, or aka I See You, which I enjoy this movie to death. Sylvester Stallone's great performance. I love, like I said, Dina Meyer's in this movie naked. But in the theatrical release, there's only one scene, but in the trailer at least show her naked body, her fine ass, you can see her fine, sexy ass, But yeah, if you're a fan of Robert Patrick, at least this movie doesn't kill Robert Patrick after 32 minutes. He's at least 1 hour 17 minutes, for all Robert Patrick fans. He's not been killed like the first 30 minutes like fucking Mindhunters did, That's the reason I prefer this movie, If you're a fan of Robert Patrick, you will really will enjoy him, in this movie. He's like tough, and of course Stallone says you're like kicking them down, you're like kicking them and then down, and it says if you mention her again, I will kill you, I love that. Stallone says. No, Stallone doesn't kill him, but of course later shows up, behind Patrick says that you say that you're gonna kill me, and he hangs him, and Stallone finds him again hanging, which I love that. This is actually the second collaboration between Stallone and Robert Patrick, But if you're a Robert Patrick fan from T2, you'll definitely appreciate him this movie. At least he isn't killed in 32 minutes like Mindhunters did to Christian Slater, I know I should have rented that film, but it wasn't that bad. Just I was very disappointed, by that film. I do have theatrical release of this movie. I got it 2014 against my will. But when I watched the movie for the first time, I was really surprised. I saw this movie, I think was, excuse me. I saw the VHS in a video store, by this movie. But I never rented it. I was not interested, I saw the rest of the Stallone films, wasn't interested that he bring a new movie. But I'm glad I have this movie in Blu-ray, my Blu-ray collection. My top 10 Sylvester Stallone films. I think I put all Rambo films in my Sylvester Stallone films, Rocky 4. Then I put some other movies that I enjoy, Cliffhanger, Love to Death, Demolition Man, Cobra, I love. I think I put Copland and 10 Gun Cash definitely in top 10 with this movie, because I just love Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, Gene Gillespie, terrible director. Yes, he directed I Know What You Did Last Summer. I like the film, hated the sequel or the third movie. I always Know What You Did Last Summer. Fuck that movie. I liked I Know What You Did Last Summer, but this movie I kind of prefer over that movie more, because at least it has a little gore, it has slasher, at least it feels like a slasher horror film at the same time, so yeah. But that's my movie review on Detox, aka I See You, 2002. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and also have a happy new year. And see you guys later. Take care now. Bye bye. I'm out. Peace.